Guys, I had a whole video. I had a whole video recorded. And none of the audio saved. Caught it. But that's okay. Um, Today we are going to talk about Cinema Peak. So, you might be like wondering, what are we going to talk about? Because if it's Cinema Peak, that's so... No, it's not. It's not objective. It's The Substance. The Substance is the best movie that has ever been created by anyone. I was going to say by man, but it was created by a girl. By a woman. A female. I don't know. I don't know how to not sound like I'm like a child that has never had the female graze. I promise you guys, I love you all. Be who you are for your pride. What was I gonna say? So The Substance was the best movie I have ever seen, and there are 4 parts. I'm gonna talk about 4 parts. I'm not gonna talk about the plot because that's for nerds, and I am not a nerd. Nerd, wait, yeah, like that one Rhett and Link song, you know what I'm talking about. But so let's talk about the first part, which is the cinematography. So in most movies you see today, there's a very constructed path of events, and it's a very slow moving camera sequence. Like, oh, here's one event, now let's go to this next event. You sort of feel like you're being handheld through this whole event, which makes sense. And that's how a lot of movies are, and that makes sense. But The Substance doesn't do that. And you know what? I like that. It doesn't. It sort of swings you through events and pushes you like, hey, you barely got this one. Well, here's another event. And it sort of pushes you through and sort of makes you feel the same way as these actors are. And I think that's huge. I think the color coding in the movie is huge. It sort of shows you as the movie progresses, you sort of see it's still light at some points, it's still happy, but a lot of it sort of gets to get more monotone. Stuff's more sad looking, stuff's more pastel, until the final scene where we sort of get uneasy sort of feelings of colors, where there's mismatch in people's outfit. Like, you could sort of see there's clashing colors around it. I think that's really cool. If you catch an eye to that, you should really look at it. The next part I want to talk about is the actors. Can I tell you any of their names? No, but I can tell you their character names. The actor that did Elizabeth Sparkle was phenomenal. Amazing. I am in shock with how great of an acting job that was, because it doesn't feel like it's just someone acting to get money or someone just trying to fill a role. You feel like they feel like Elizabeth Sparkle, and they project that feeling to you. I feel like I'm watching someone degrading themselves because they don't feel worthy enough because they got laid off from the job or that they're too old. I feel like I'm genuinely this person. I'm genuinely following someone I know. And that doesn't happen in movies anymore. And it doesn't happen very often. And that is such a cool feeling to fully get pronounced and enunciated in a movie like this where it's body horror. You don't expect that. You don't expect to actually feel these characters and feel what's really going on. And that's just, it was such a shock and such a surprise to me. And I was taken aback by it because it was so good in that sense. Now I don't want to just stop there. Sue was another great character. Sue was one of those characters where the actor did a phenomenal job, but I hated the character. But that was how it was supposed to be. I felt like the character wasn't who I wanted to be, and that's exactly what, in my eyes, it's supposed to happen. I think that's massive in it. And I think being able to sort of bounce off of, hey, this character sucks, because the acting in it is so well, and you can sort of feel that sense of hatred towards them, like the other characters in the movie. And then the last character I really want to talk about, the last acting I want to talk about, is sort of the head of the company. That guy that's sort of that laid off Elizabeth Sparkle, that guy. The guy that acted him, I don't know who it is, obviously. I don't even know his name in the movie. I just know him as the head of the acting department. He is phenomenal. Because I feel uneasy when he talks. I feel I feel like I'm not comfortable in my body when he's talking and I'm another man. So I can only imagine what it feels like to be the directed audience for it and the directed people for it. And that's just such a hard event to portray all over it. And the last time we really saw this in a movie like in the same genre of horror that we saw this was really not even body horror, just horror was really Longlegs, which is this year, but it was like you feel uneasy seeing these characters. You feel disgusted when these people are talking. You feel just a sense of like scares and like a sense of fear and a sense of like worry when being in dialogue with this and another character, and you sort of get that emotion portrayed through. Going back to that cinematography thing, I think that's also enunciated by stuff like the lenses that they choose, like the fisheye lens that they use for a lot of it. And like there's the one scene where they're in the hallway towards the end where Elizabeth, spoiler alerts, but like Elizabeth Sparkle after Elizabeth Sparkle's dead due to Sue killing her, and so we sort of get the feeling of like Sue's losing her teeth, losing her hair, sort of you see Sue falling apart in front of your eyes, and you see that in their mental state. But then as you're getting into scenes like the next scene where the head of the acting department's like, if you're pretty, smile, and she does like the smile, and we sort of get like this like half smile, but then you get the fisheye camera with it, so I think that sort of enunciates it because it's not like you could sort of see the reality warp around Sue in that moment. You could see it not just be about her, but sort of she's the main focus, but you could see the reality around her warping because that's not who she is, and that's just such a beautiful scene in that department. Um, I then want to continue on to the art of it, not the expression, but the actual just physical art. The costume design is magnificent. You can't tell me that you've seen multiple movies recently that can portray someone's finger falling, like basically falling off, basically dying in front of you, and sort of be like, that looks real. But that was something I genuinely felt here. The scene where you have Sue get the bump and pull out the chicken wing out of her stomach doesn't look fake. It looks real. The Where she's crawling out of the back, everything looks and feels real when you're seeing it. The only thing that's sort of far fetched, and because it's supposed to be, is the last scene with the collagrament of Sue and Elizabeth Sparkle. But even then, I feel uneasy and I feel tense seeing that because I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to feel like something's wrong because something is wrong, and I think that is so important. I think the color design that they continue to use in the outfits really helps enunciate these sort of changes in the characters. The one scene where there's the hallucination of Sue's jacket unzipping and all the guts spilling out was uneasy. It was weird to see. And continuing on with this art, we get into like the music with it, and like, um, you see music in every movie for the most part, but this one I think really enunciates and really sort of helps bring to light what's going on in the movie and when you're supposed to feel uneasy and when you can sort of lay back, which isn't often, but like when you can lay back and sort of learn the story, it shows you that with the music. It helps guide you in that way without having to hold your hand. It sort of lets you figure it out to yourself. Um, my favorite is the I want to say it's like a cello bow to a metal plate. Um, you get this sound a lot in horror movies. The most recent one, besides this one that I can remember, is really Smile 2, when you have the smile attacks going on and you sort of hear the you get that same thing, but the opposite where it goes like every once in a while when something is going on, and so you feel and you know something bad is about to happen, and you feel uneasy and you feel tense. Like when I'm hearing that noise, I sort of lean, like I feel tense in my own body, and then something happens and they portray it beautifully. The music they choose that makes you feel like you're in that time, that makes you feel like you're with these characters, the continuations of the sound effects, everything from the when they hit their heads to when the back is literally splitting open, you feel this sense of disgust, unease, tenseness, but also when it needs to be laid back and relaxed. And I think that is so important, and it's not really shown in movies nowadays. And I think this did a beautiful job at it. Um, Sorry, I'm talking quick because obviously I've recorded this before, so I basically know what I'm saying at this point. There's no like script or anything, so I'm just sort of going off the top of my head. But I basically knew what I was saying, so sorry if this like seems a little fast action. I just want to talk. Um, but my last point I wanted to bring up is the dialogue in this movie. I I've never been a big movie watcher, but I've watched a couple of good movies. Some standouts to me are like 10 Things I Hate About You or like Perks of Being a Wallflower. I mean, those are movies with good, hard hitting dialogue, and those are movies that you remember. And honestly, despite it being a body horror sci-fi movie, the Substance really had some lines like that. It really had some lines that really made you think and really made you feel for these characters that are in front of you. Like again, going back to the if you're a pretty smile line, you feel the uneasiness, the you feel the like sense of urgency in that moment. And I think it's the it goes back to the actors as well. It's the display of that character coming through to their words. But there's another line that's really really big to me and really important to me that really stuck with me, and it was when Elizabeth Sparkle goes to terminate Sue, and as she's trying to terminate Sue, realizes that she needs Sue because she doesn't like herself. And the line that she delivers when she's trying to revive Sue is, "I need you because I hate myself." And that is such a gorgeous dialogue option there. They could have said anything. They could have been like, "I need you to do this," or "I need you to do that," or please wake up," like any other movie. But they chose to bring forth the light and the plot of the movie of not hating yourself as you grow up and sort of realizing that it's okay to be who you are. And sort of by bringing it and showing how someone hates themselves and really taking that into the dialogue in such an important moment in the movie that you're going to remember. And I think that was such a smart, such a beautiful move that they really chose there. And it really is what makes the movie stand out. But yeah, that's really all I have for the movie. Obviously, there's stuff about the plot. I think the plot is amazing, and I think it's a very much needed lesson in today's society that doesn't get brought up in the correct way or at all. And I think it was just such a beautiful topic to pick. But I think everything else that I brought up here was the other reasons, because obviously you can have a great plot and that can bring your movie to light. But if you don't have any of this other 4 points that I brought up, you don't have a movie. You have some words on a piece of paper. And I think this brought more than a movie, but really a lesson and like a memoir to me. And it's gorgeous. It was an amazing movie created by an amazing director. And I hope I can see more from them. I don't know any of their previous works if they've made any, and I don't know if they have plans for any future ones. But I really hope they do, because this was gorgeous. It was amazing. It was probably my favorite movie I have seen in a long time, if not at all. Um, but so that's sort of just what I want to talk about why I think The Substance is cinematic peak. Um, I have another video coming out soon, hopefully, about time signatures and why we lean towards 4-4 more than like 6-8 or 12-8. But that one might take me a little longer. But if for some reason this video gets out before Thanksgiving, which I'm hoping it does, I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. Go see family. Tell them that you're thankful for them. I've always lived up the motto, you don't know what's going to happen. So make sure you leave off on a good note. If you like this video, leave a like. If you want to see more of me, subscribe. I'm sort of trying to lean into more of just talking about what I want to. But seriously, I appreciate you all for watching. And if you haven't watched it, go watch The Substance. It's a little heavier in both the message and the visuals, but it's a must watch if you can. Heavily recommend. But I can't say it enough. Thank you all for everything. And always, as always, have a great day, great night, great whatever. Just live your life to the best. Be thankful for what you have. And keep on pushing. Peace, y'all.